My name is Jeremy Valorant, and we are so excited that you are here with us tonight. The live stream portion of the evening will be beginning shortly, but before we go live, I want to take a moment to announce the 2020 Wedgwood Award recipients. But first, a little bit about the Wedgwood Award. Josiah Wedgwood was an English potter, entrepreneur, and abolitionist who was instrumental in the British abolitionist movement. He was one of the most successful entrepreneurs of the 18th century, and the company he built is still around today. In fact, some of you may very well have a set of Wedgwood china at home. One of the things he created was an anti-slavery medallion that said, "Am I not a man and a brother?" and had a slave on bended knee with shackles looking up to heaven. It was also circulated around the world and then later adapted into a token of a woman on bended knee that said, "Am I not a woman and a sister?" It became an icon of the abolitionist effort. The Wedgwood Award is an award that we present to business leaders in our community who are both innovators in their field and also leaders in the fight for freedom. This year's recipient is Dwayne and Rebecca Hixson from N2 Publishing. Dwayne and Rebecca and their team at N2 have built the industry leader in neighborhood magazine publishing. Their publications go to over 900 neighborhoods across the US and reach over 2 million people every month. If you look at their website, you'll see that the passion that drives them is written right on the homepage: the fight against modern-day slavery. In fact, they started N2 Gives as the impact arm of N2, and since 2016, they've donated over $11 million to support organizations that rescue and restore the lives of those in slavery. In fact, we are one of those organizations that N2 has teamed up with over the years, and I've had the opportunity to get to know Dwayne and Rebecca personally and have been so impacted by their leadership and their commitment to the fight against slavery. So it is with great joy and honor that we present the 2020 Wedgwood Award to Dwayne and Rebecca Hixson.
Hello friends of Rescue Freedom, my name is Dwayne Hixson.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Hixson.
We are honored and excited to receive the Wedgwood Award tonight. Thank you very much for that honor, we appreciate it. It was about 16 years ago that we started our company called N2 Publishing with a good friend of ours. And for those of you who don't know who N2 is, which is probably
Everyone does not know. So
no one knows. Okay, so since no one knows who we are, what we do, we produce niche magazines for neighborhoods across the U.S. as well as some magazines for top producing realtors. We're in about 650 markets across the United States. It was about 10 years ago that we together started learning about human trafficking and what was going on here in the States and across the globe. And we decided that we should start doing something about it.
Yeah, we wanted to get involved. N2 really wasn't making money, really very much money at that point.
At that point, none.
No.
Yeah.
So we were giving a little bit what we could. It was important to us to be involved somehow. And then as N2 became more profitable and started making money, we were trying to figure out ways that we could do more.
Yes. As the company grew, we had more resources, which is a great thing. We felt that burden to actually start doing some research. So we're going to start giving money, especially millions of dollars, out to organizations. Let's find out who these organizations are. And I was shocked at how many organizations are out there that are fighting human trafficking. And so we started taking applications, and
Hundreds
of different organizations were applying for money. I think one of the things that we both saw was that while there are a lot of organizations that have a good heart and they're trying to do good things, they actually just weren't run very well.
Yeah, some of them just weren't very effective.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons that we love Rescue Freedom so much is that it's when you can combine someone who's got a great purpose, a great mission, but then they run it like a real business.
Yeah,
and they execute at a high level, and they have the skills and the talent.
Yeah, and so something that was important to us, kind of as we started giving more significant amounts of money was that there be a strategic plan in place, and I'm just so excited to be working with Rescue Freedom, and we both are, just because that strategy is coming, it's in play, and so it makes giving to Rescue Freedom and investing so much in them just so exciting.
We really believe that the power of the team is much greater than the power of any individual. So I know that's why we love having Rescue Freedom come out and talk at our conferences and introducing them to all the people that work with our organization, so the people that work with us, and they can then take that knowledge of Rescue Freedom to their spheres, but also all of us here who support Rescue Freedom to be together as a team. We're going to accomplish a lot more than any one of us would individually. So we're excited and honored to receive the Wedgwood Award, so thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. It means a lot.
And we're excited to see what the future holds and all the amazing things we're going to accomplish together.
เตียงของหนูนอนที่นี่เดี๋ยวคุณแม่ให้หนูขอหอบเนาะ
When a girl has been a victim of sexual slavery, she needs more than rescue. She needs true freedom. Freedom goes beyond escaping captivity, getting out of a brothel, or getting off the streets.
ที่ส่งมาให้แพรปัก
It takes time and will be difficult. She's used her strength to survive. Now she will use her strength to start a new life. It requires safety and a look into the past.
มันเป็นเรื่องราวชีวิตในชีวิตที่เรา
And the renewal of hope in a future, a life that is truly free. There must be a safe place to share, an offer of friendship, a chance to live into her potential, and to simply play. A place to own her worth and value that is founded on love, where she can plan for the future and find joy in the present. And slowly, but eventually, she finds true freedom.
was desperate and my mother was sick. A man offered me a job to be a hairstylist. But when I arrived, he took my ID, all my belongings, and told me if I didn't pay for the boat ride by working the streets, then he would kill my family. I saw more men than I could count.
Every day, women and children like Kalina have their choices taken away from them and are forced into sexual slavery. Whether they are promised a false job, tricked by a romantic relationship, sold by a desperate and poor family member, or simply abducted because they are vulnerable and alone.
He controlled everything. There is no way to escape.
For women like Kalina, there are no choices. No choice of what to eat, what to wear, where to go, and no choice to say no. Some may feel hopeless to help against a global crime happening in secret and in the dark. But there are those that have chosen to be the light. Rescue Freedom is on a mission to end sexual slavery. We are a team of abolitionists based around the world who are not fueled by injustice, but by our magnitude of hope. Because we've seen slavery end, one life at a time, and we believe it is possible for all.
If there's anything that over 10 years of doing this work has shown us, it's that we cannot be idle. We must be deliberate and strategic, and that all starts with providing a pathway out of slavery.
Nosotros vamos a las calles y entregamos un regalo para poder tener una conversación con la mujer y que pueda confiar en nosotros y poder rescatarlas de las calles.
It's a process for someone to be free, so after they're rescued, that's why we work with local partners to provide counseling, education, skills training, community, and much, much more. All these things that are necessary for someone to truly experience freedom.
We work with victims that have been highly traumatized. And so each local partner absolutely needs to know what they're doing about trauma therapy. So we coach them and we provide tools for healing from trauma, all in addition to providing technical support, business training, financial support, and much more in order to make sure that they are increasingly effective to help them help the victims.
The issue is so big, so wide, and sometimes seems so hopeless.
Knowing someone is there for us, it really gives us courage.
It's a holistic way of supporting the local partners and standing right beside them when they are going through that process.
This is all part of a much larger strategy. To fight a global problem, we need a global solution. A community that crosses borders, collaborates, and learns from each other. Person by person, we fight for a day where this global network abolishes slavery forever.
Y gracias a esa llamada nosotros pudimos rescatar a la mujer, pudo ser completamente restaurada y hoy ha vuelto a su país y se encuentra completamente libre.
My daughter, she attends primary school. I believe she will never go through what I did. Something I never thought was possible.
Our favorite stories are when slavery never happened, when the trauma was prevented for the next generation and the generation after that. That is how we end slavery. And that is what together we can achieve. A generation where slavery does not exist at all.
We stand together, a community willing to fight till the end, a community who has seen rescue after rescue and knows we are just getting started. We show our support by climbing mountains, riding bikes, shaving beards, and giving month after month after month to make sure our voices are heard as we make one collective choice. The choice to fight for freedom. In the back alleys, in the city streets, on the rooftops and the mountaintops, in the red lights and safe homes. We are the abolitionists that over and over again choose to fight for freedom. We are Rescue Freedom International.
Welcome to the 9th annual Freedom Dinner, our first ever virtual Freedom Dinner. My name is Jackie.
I'm Laura.
And we are honored. We are live! We're live! We are honored to be on the Rescue Freedom International team. Tonight, we will be your hosts. We are gonna guide you and provide you with opportunities to interact throughout the evening. We're gonna have moments to celebrate and have opportunities for you to make an impact. As you can tell, we're excited.
Yes, so excited.
We're excited to celebrate freedom and to raise funds to end slavery. Tonight, you're gonna have an opportunity to learn more about what we're doing at Rescue Freedom, to hear stories of the impact that we're making in this fight against trafficking, and to take action.
Yeah, and before we go any further tonight, we have some incredibly generous sponsors that have made this night possible. And so we want to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, the Jones Legacy Group, in partnership with Gear Financial Group, and also our sponsors Zarmada and WBC In-House Advisors. We could not do this night without you.
It's so true. And although we are separated tonight, we are together. We are one community of abolitionists all over the globe who are tuning in tonight. And in fact, just to make this night a little bit more interactive and fun, we have a live chat feature. So as you can see on our site, we have a live chat. We're gonna be following along. We are. And so why don't we just take a moment right now? Will you just say hello in the chat? We would love to say hi to you. Hi, Kika in Mexico. Love seeing you.
Yes,
We've got
Tanya,
Ruth. So many amazing people. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And if you're having any trouble with the chat, just make sure that your cookies are not blocked on your browser.
Yeah, we are so encouraged. You know, we've been watching the registrations come in over the last several weeks. And as we have been diving into who is registering for this evening, we have noticed that nearly 50%, actually over 50% of people that are joining us tonight are newer to the Rescue Freedom International family. And we say welcome. There's some of you that are here tonight because you've recently heard that trafficking is an issue, and you're wanting to come to see what your next step might be. Some of you may have been curious for a while, and you're coming tonight to make that next step. And some of you were invited to something and you weren't quite sure what it was, but you trusted your friend. And to your friend, we say, thanks, friend. Yes, we are so thrilled that all of you have joined us. And there is many of you, over 50% of you as well, that have been with us for years. Yeah. You have been fighting the fight with us, and we say thank you. We want to point you back to that chat and actually hear, how many Freedom Dinners have you been to? I've personally been to three Freedom Dinners. This is my third.
That's fantastic. This is my fourth Freedom Dinner.
Why don't you tell us? Yeah, let's tell us in the chat. What do we have?
A lot of different Freedom Dinners.
How many Freedom Dinners?
Some first-timers. A couple of years here. That's fantastic.
Awesome. We love hearing from you in the chat. And even though we can't be together, we wanted to make it as much of an interactive event as possible. And so we created a hashtag Freedom Dinner 2020. When you take your pictures or your celebratory moments, just snap those pictures and post them on social media. Be sure to use the hashtag Freedom Dinner 2020 and tag us at Rescue Freedom, because it's actually going to populate on our event site.
Yes.
So Jackie, let's take
a
picture.
Photo.
We're
here with you tonight.
We are here with you.
Let's get a selfie.
Let's get a selfie.
Okay, ready? Okay, you're gonna see that in a couple minutes.
Yes, I'm gonna post that.
You are not alone. If you were feeling alone before, man, we are together tonight. And whether you're brand new or you've been an abolitionist for years, everyone can agree who is attending tonight that we believe that human trafficking is wrong and that it needs to end. And many of you have decided that it ends with you. And we couldn't agree more. Yeah. We believe that human trafficking ends with us taking action, because the harsh reality is that there are millions of people trapped in slavery around the globe. There are more slaves today than there have ever been in human history. And so that's why we're here. That's what we're fighting tonight.
Yeah, Jackie, when I hear that number, millions are still in slavery today, it can bring me to a place almost of paralysis, like I don't know what to do. But we want to encourage you tonight that you can do something, because we bring it back to the one life that is impacted because you are choosing to take a stand tonight. It is not the injustice that drives us, but it is the magnitude of hope that we get to bring to the one individual after another after another. We are a team of abolitionists, people fighting to end slavery in 21 countries around the globe. Through our network of partners, we provide rescue, restoration, prevention, and education to men, women, and children that have found themselves in trafficking and being exploited. In other words, friends, we are ending slavery together.
That's right. And you know what's so inspiring, Laura? You guys have all been inviting your friends, and we are so grateful. We had this challenge to get people from all 50 states to join us, and we're excited to announce that we have all 50 states. Woohoo! So all 50 states are registered, and we have people joining from 14 different countries.
Yeah,
we
amazing.
are global. And so will you just take a moment in the chat and just tell us, where are you tuning in from? We would love to see.
Let's see it. What do we have? You guys are all in the zone. You're watching. You're in the zone. You're not chatting.
We know it's all 50 states.
Yes, we know it's all 50 states. You know, Jackie, we have been using the term abolitionist a lot this evening so far, and we really want to make sure you know what that means. Basically and simply put, it means you know that slavery still exists in our modern world, and you are choosing to take a stand against it. Just by you being here tonight, by tuning in, you are taking on the identity of abolitionist.
That's right, and together as a community of abolitionists, we are fighting the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world, human trafficking. And there are men, women, and children who have had their innocence taken from them, and we get to come together and prevent future generations from entering trafficking in the first place. We get to be the change, and we're so grateful that you are part of it with us tonight.
Absolutely. Well, tonight there will be endless opportunities for you to give in parallel to hearing the stories of impact of your generosity. We have placed, just so you don't miss it, we have placed a giant red donate button there on the screen. So we want you to familiarize yourself with that. Hey, even right now, give it a click and
Test it out.
Test it out.
Test it out.
Because we get to see these bubbles fly up of donations being made, and that total continue to soar towards our goal tonight. And so you can give live tonight with that donate button. But also, if you want to give via check or donor advised fund, there is also an option. If you cruise a little bit further down the page, there is instructions on how to do that. And when you click there to make that happen, there's actually a pledge button that will appear, and you'll be able to mark what you're intending to give tonight. And so that will go into our total.
That's fantastic. So as you can probably see at the top of your page, we have a goal tonight of $500,000. We are believing that we can raise $500,000 tonight. And when we do that, we are able to rescue more women and children around the globe. We're able to expand our work beyond 21 countries, and we get to prevent future generations from entering slavery in the first place. Can you imagine a world where children go to school and get an education instead of being endangered? Where men, women, and children are empowered to have big and new futures filled with life and hope and love. That is what we're doing tonight, and that's what that $500,000 is going for.
Yeah. And the exciting news is that 100% of the funds that are being given tonight will actually go directly to the needs and the programs that are actively fighting trafficking around the world. And we have an even more exciting news.
It's very exciting.
Yes, that is about to be presented tonight. And I think it's actually really a drum roll moment.
I think it's a drum roll.
Yes.
We should drum roll.
We should
in the
drum
chat.
roll. Can you guys get your best drum roll ready for
Give
the
it
chat?
a little drum roll.
Actually, literally write out
can do
drum roll. You can write da 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 or drum roll, but we have an announcement to make.
Ready?
We have generous donors that have brought $100,000 to the table to inspire your giving tonight. Not only did they want to give to this cause, but they wanted to inspire you to give this evening. So dollar for dollar, the first $100,000 that is raised tonight will be matched. So come on, let's see those. I'm seeing it. You guys are getting inspired. This is amazing.
So $100,000 match, and no matter what you give tonight, 100% is going to fight slavery. So you're not going to lose. This is an amazing thing to be part of tonight. And so to kick us off tonight, we actually have a few of our supporters that have talked to us a little bit about their why. Why are they fighting slavery? And so we hope that this brings you some inspiration and hope tonight. And so will you please welcome with me Donald and Betsy Miller.
Hi everybody, I'm Betsy Miller.
I'm Don Miller.
I am the board chair for Rescue Freedom, and we are here to welcome you guys to the first ever virtual dinner.
That's right, first and hopefully last. I mean, hopefully we can be together again
next year.
But I don't know, virtual dinners every year won't be too bad if we want to add one of these to the menu. Yeah, the doc.
There's perks. There's perks to being out your pajamas and watching from home. Well, we are just here to say welcome. We're also watching from home, and this has been such an incredible year of impact. I mean, honestly, I'm always impressed by the growth this organization has every year, which is really due in huge part to the work that each of you plays a part in. And this year was no exception. I mean, I've heard that this is our greatest year of impact.
Well, and it's fitting because, with COVID and the world shutting down, some of the crimes that the organization...
There was a lot of opportunity. Everything shut down in crazy ways. You're going to hear all the details about that this evening, I'm sure. But it allowed us to step in and have an impact in a way that we could never have done before this. So we really saw the opportunity and ran with it. And that is, again, in huge part to each of you.
Yeah, I think when we all think about human trafficking, it's such a massive issue. It's such an incredibly painful issue. It's hard even to get your mind around, and it's painful to even really just process what's actually happening and emotionally resonate with what's really happening in the world because it's so bad. And we are all saying, okay, what can we do about it? And Rescue Freedom is what you can do about it. If we can't do it very much individually, but we can do something when we come together as a team. And so this is a community that we love being together. We love the work that Jeremy Valorand and Rescue Freedom is doing all around the world. And it's our answer, it's our light in the darkness, it's our answer to a really dark question of who's there for me, who can help me. And so I think it's a beautiful organization, it's a beautiful mission. Betsy and I are proud to support it year after year, and the work is incredible. So thank you for being with us tonight. Please do pull out your checkbook, pull out your debit card, and give because, like I said, the world got a little darker when it comes to human trafficking because of all that's happened around the world this year. And people were looking the other way, and when crisis happens, bad guys kind of take advantage of the distractions. So Rescue Freedom is going to have to answer that even stronger than ever before, which is going to require your support. Betsy and I are going to up our giving. We hope that you will up your giving too. But tonight, you're going to hear all about what's going on with Rescue Freedom around the world. You're going to hear some beautiful stories, and hopefully that is encouraging to you so that you know you are contributing to an answer to a very, very serious problem. And I'll just say I'm very proud of my wife for being chairman of the board of this organization, and I got to up my game to deserve being married to her. So thanks everybody for all that you're doing.
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Have fun.
Bye.
Hey guys, Corey and Sadie Robertson here, and we are so honored to be a part of Team Freedom. One of the sad things that we've learned is that many times trafficking can be multi-generational. A lot of times the daughters are forced in the same pattern and exploitation as their mothers.
Yeah, and we hate the thought of that, and so we want to see generations step into freedom, and we know that is the work that y'all are doing. So we get behind y'all, we support y'all, we are honored, like Mom said, to be on the team, seeing generations step into freedom.
Yep, we love y'all, and we are cheering you on from here from Louisiana.
Hi, my name is Kika, and I'm from Brazil, living in Utah. I have been partnering with Rescue Freedom through Freedom Hikers since 2017. We do what we love, which is hiking, to fight what we hate, which is slavery. I partner with Rescue Freedom because I think freedom should be a right, not a privilege.
My name is Carly from Carly G in Los Angeles, here in LA, California. We made a freedom sweatshirt to help raise awareness about human trafficking and help raise funds for Rescue Freedom.
Hi, my name's Dan. I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world with Rescue Freedom as a volunteer photographer, and have just found my gym to be an awesome platform to bring my community together to fight trafficking.
Hi, my name's Jenny Pruitt, and I live in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I grew up hiking and the love for the outdoors, and when I heard I could do that to help others be free from human trafficking through Rescue Freedom, I was all in. We have ignited a fire for freedom here in our Florida area, and I am so excited to be part of that.
Hi, my name is Philip Meach, and I'm the owner and founder of Cafe Luso Coffee Roasters. We created the Rescue Freedom Blend to help fight slavery.
Hey there, my name is Whitney Gunderson, and I live in Denver, Colorado. I'm helping lead a freedom hike to the top of Mount Elbert at the end of September. I joined Rescue Freedom because I believe everybody should have the opportunity to see the beauty in this world.
I hope you'll join us in the fight.
Thanks for fighting modern-day slavery with us.
Won't you join me?
Join me in fighting slavery tonight.
Please join us.
Will you please join me in fighting slavery tonight?
Welcome to the 9th annual Freedom Dinner and our first ever virtual event. Whether this is your first Freedom Dinner or you've been to all 9, I am so glad you're here and a part of this community of abolitionists. I want to thank you for sharing your Saturday night with us and for making the decision to be a part of ending slavery one life at a time. As I mentioned, this is the first virtual event, and that's only appropriate for 2020, a year of so many firsts. The first global pandemic in a century. The first time that most of us have heard the term social distance. One of the things I've been reflecting on this year is how foreign it has felt to have certain choices taken away because of the pandemic. Choices like where we can go or who we can be with in person. If we're allowed to visit loved ones in the hospital, if we're allowed to go to work, or even if our kids are allowed to go to school. For most of us, it has been a completely foreign feeling to have choices taken away, even if we totally understand the reason why. As I navigated my own feelings of confusion, sadness, frustration at times, and even loneliness and disconnectedness during the season, it also made me realize, even after years involved in the fight against slavery, how little I understand of what it must actually be like and feel like to be in slavery, to have so many of our choices and freedoms stripped away. But that's why we're here tonight, even in the midst of a pandemic, to fight for those whose choices and freedoms have been taken away by slavery. I grew up in a small town about 45 minutes outside of Seattle, Washington, a town made up mostly of dairy farms, lumber, and the county fair. As a young kid, our family didn't have a lot. So my grandparents built us a house on their property, and after a few years of us living in their renovated barn, we got to move in to that house. One of the earliest lessons I remember learning from my parents as a kid was something that Jesus said in the Gospel of Luke, "To whom much is given, much is required." They taught us that we were to use the things that we had been given to help others. But they didn't just teach us with words, they taught us with actions. Our doors were always open. Someone was always living in our bonus room. My grandparents had generously helped us to have a home, and my parents were going to be generous with that home to help others. Could be friends in transition, refugees in crisis. There always seemed to be someone. To whom much is given, much is required. That theme was reinforced as I got older. Even in Marvel Comics, when Uncle Ben tells Peter Parker, who just becomes Spider-Man, that with great power comes great responsibility. To be honest, the older I got, the more that I struggled with that idea. It felt like a crushing weight of responsibility. Every opportunity I had or gift I received felt heavy, as if it opened up some new requirement of service. I felt like I had been given much, and I felt like so much would be required of me as a result. And I didn't know where to start. I wanted to help. I wanted to make the world a better place, but it felt daunting. When I discovered human trafficking, that struggle continued. I knew I wanted to be a part of the solution. I just didn't know where to start. I knew I could help, or at least I thought I could help. I wanted to help. I just didn't know how, and I was overwhelmed by the enormity of the issue. Over the next 4 years, I took small steps. A group of us started using our mountain climbing trips to try to raise money to help people escape from slavery. I started sharing with others about the fight against human trafficking, and eventually that led to the launch of Rescue Freedom. At the core of who we are as an organization is a belief that all of us carry a deep, deep desire to make the world a better place. I believe that we all long to use the skills, the resources, and the gifts that we have to help others. I believe there is something God-given deep down inside all of us that understands that if we've been given incredible things like freedom, family, creativity, or financial stability, influence, and education, that those things are not just for us to consume for ourselves, but they are also to improve the lives of the people we love, our community, and the world around us. That's one of the things that makes this community so special. We understand that the mission takes all of us, leaning in and using the unique gifts and resources that we have to offer. We are a community of people who long to make the world a better place, to see justice triumph over injustice, hope over despair, love over hate, freedom over oppression, and light over darkness. We know that we've been given much, and that what is required of us is simply to take the next step towards helping those who are hurting and vulnerable around us. I'll never forget 15 years ago when I was living in Washington, D.C., one of the things I loved about being in that city was seeing all the profound ways that people would utilize their freedom of speech. I was always curious when walking the Capitol Mall to see what groups would be out voicing their concerns to those in power. One day, while walking to the U.S. Capitol building, I saw a small group of about 4 protesters holding signs on the lawn. I looked closer, and this is what I saw. You want to cut what? Now, like you, I was puzzled and intrigued. I moved closer to see what it was all about, and I saw a second sign that said, "Stop infant circumcision." And then another sign about how boys in America should not be circumcised. My first thought was, I had no idea there was a protest movement around American circumcision practices. And then I saw one of the protesters standing off to the side, and he was holding a sign, and I just knew that I needed to talk to him. Now, full disclosure here, I fully went up to him expecting that it would lead to either a humorous or highly awkward conversation. But I asked him if he had a few moments to chat, and he said, okay. And so I looked at him and I was like, all right, I'll be honest. I'm not familiar with the case for or against boys being circumcised, but I am curious to know why, of all the causes out there facing the world, of all the challenges facing humanity, what motivated you to choose this cause? I wasn't sure if he would answer with, why the cause was so critical, or perhaps give me an overly personal account of why it mattered to him so much, but what he said completely caught me off guard. He looked around to make sure that none of his colleagues could hear him, and then he looked at me and he said, honestly, I looked at a lot of the other causes, and I considered getting involved in a lot of other things, but all of them had so many people involved that I didn't think I could make a difference. He said, when I learned about this issue and saw how few people were involved, I felt like at least I could make a difference. I felt like they needed me. Well, that was not what I expected to hear that day. It wasn't the cause that drove him to act. It was the opportunity to matter, to belong to something significant, to know that his presence and his voice mattered, to somehow make a difference. Friends, that's all of us. We all long to know that we matter, that we can be a part of something that makes a difference. I want to finish with the story of Binsa. Binsa spent most of her childhood in and out of brothels. She spent such a significant amount of time in exploitation that on the day of her rescue, on the way to the safe house, she asked our local partner, "Which brothel are you taking me to now?" She was only a child sold for profit, and she couldn't even fathom freedom. Upon arrival at the safe house, she was gifted a teddy bear, and she told us that during her trafficking process, she had lost a teddy bear that she loved. Her teddy bear was restored, and it became a symbol of how much more would be restored in her life, her innocence, her hope, her dreams. We noticed right away that Binsa was a fighter, a great student with a courageous spirit, and she decided to use her freedom and the gifts that she had been given to help protect other girls just like her. She didn't want what happened to her to happen to anyone else, and with her freedom, she would help to free others. She began calling other girls that she knew in exploitation, encouraging them that there was a way out. There were people who would provide for them with tools to live an independent life. They could go back to school. They could live in freedom and safety and never be in slavery again. She told them that they too could have a future. As she grew older, she began bravely helping those other girls. She became part of their amazing rescue stories. And Binsa is now a law student, studying how to use her skills to prosecute traffickers. She accompanies former victims, rescued young women to court to speak out against the traffickers in their community. Our team members recently said, when they were asked about Binsa, "We know by her fierceness that the traffickers are in trouble and that she is coming hard against them. She is a fierce person full of kindness, caring, and genuinely loves people. Instead of being a victim, she became a protector." Binsa is using her freedom to set others free. And that's what we're here to do tonight. 2020 introduced us to the idea of essential and non-essential workers. Jobs overnight were deemed essential or unessential. Well, tonight, we want you to know that you are essential. You are needed in this mission. To whom much is given, much is required. The things that you have been given and blessed with are needed here in this fight. The longing that you have to make the world a better place is a gift, and that gift is needed in order for us to take on slavery. Tonight, we can and we will change lives forever.
Thank you, Jeremy. In our core, we all carry a deep desire to make the world a better place, to leave it better than when we found it. And it's encouraging to know that in this mission to end sexual slavery, we all have a place, a role, a seat at the table, to use our life and freedom to bring freedom to others. It takes a network of traffickers to steal the lives of others, and it takes a network of supporters like you to be a part of the solution. One of our local partners in Thailand fights for the freedom of others in Bangkok and Pattaya, two of some of the darkest red light districts in the world. And together, we provide prevention, intervention, and restoration for young teenagers trapped in slavery. Tonight, we are bringing you an inside look into the life-changing work happening throughout Thailand because of supporters like you. So please meet Anne, one of our local partner directors.
Hello, my name is Anne Thongwet. I am the director of Beginnings Foundation, located in Bangkok and Pattaya, Thailand. Our mission is to make new beginnings. We fight to end the exploitation of women and girls in the sex trade in Thailand through prevention, intervention, and aftercare. We believe in a holistic approach to freedom by providing safe homes, vocational and skill training, and fund for their education. To date, we have graduated 10 young women from university and with 2 others currently attending. We have been blessed to partner with Rescue Freedom for many years. This year, that partnership was instrumental in our response to the COVID-19 crisis in Thailand. Back in March, following the pandemic announcement, Thailand closed all the business in nationwide shutdown. All bar and massage parlor in Red Light District area that we work with were closed down overnight. Although there was a reason to rejoice, the reality meant that thousands of women lost their income for themselves and for their families. As weeks went by and savings dried up, we received word that women were going to days without food. Reusing essentials like shampoo over and over again, selling their belongings to survive, to afford the rent. Many were moving into a small room together, all being traded with homelessness as their rent went overdue, having to choose between risking their own safety and starving. Some women were faced with looking for work despite shutdown mandates, survival sex their only option. Meanwhile, in a crowded, disadvantaged community in Bangkok, people who were already struggling to survive became even more vulnerable. I serve on the board of one wonderful sister foundation that operates a daycare for children in the community. Often, the mother of the children who come to daycares work in the sex industry, so make sure that children are taken care of is vital to breaking circle of poverty and exploitation. However, due to the pandemic, these children were now at increased risk. At Beginnings Foundation, we knew that we have to do something. We had many friends in the Red Light District area that we already know from our annual Christmas party event and bar outreach. Through the help of Rescue Freedom, we were able to give away essentials such as rice, food, soap, and shampoo. In the vulnerable community, we support the daycare's effort to provide fresh meals, many of which our residents cook themselves. We also rally together to make personal protective equipment like cloth mask and hand gel to give out. And all the while, we began to make a plan for a long-term solution in the form of new work opportunities. Even as COVID case has gone way down, only a small percentage of Red Light District have reopened. And countless women are still struggling to feed themselves and their families. But there is hope. I'm standing here in our new baking studio. As COVID restrictions began to lift, we start teaching baking class for women to learn new skills and earn income in new career. Because of the relationship we had made during the crisis, we were able to invite those women to come learn with us. A few months ago, we met one woman in Pattaya. She has lost her income from bar closing, was going around charity for food, and was living with 3 others in a small room. Then she suddenly has her teenage daughter come and live with her because of an unsafe environment with relatives. She reached out to us, and now her daughter lives at Beginnings and is thriving in school with brand new sisters. All while she's herself working through our baking program at the same time. God is good. It is amazing how even in crisis, people like you have come alongside us because you are passionate about ending exploitation. Thank you for helping us to make new beginnings. We couldn't do it without you.
It is incredible to hear our team member Anne describing this beautiful picture of survivors healing in their care, making meals, and serving those who are most vulnerable during this COVID-19 crisis. This is a beautiful picture of prevention in action. And that's what we're here to do tonight, to prevent future generations and more people from entering slavery. And as Jeremy talked about earlier, Binza's story is an incredible picture of what it looks like when a freed person frees other people. Yeah. We are free people who get to free other people. Yeah. Human trafficking tries to rob victims of purpose. And we get to restore that purpose, that life again. And so that's what we're here to do tonight. Binza has become an advocate for change. She is helping bring justice and peace to more. And so that's what we get to do tonight. When you make a donation tonight, you are investing in more stories like Binza's and more men, women, and children out there who need our help.
Yeah, and as we continue this evening, there is not going to be a lack of inspiring stories from our team members across the globe. And we love hearing from you, because what you are experiencing tonight, what you are seeing, and how that is resonating in your heart, it really matters to us. And so we want you to take advantage of that chat as we continue to hear these stories from around the world of free people, freeing people, and prevention and education and empowerment happening. We want to hear, how is that resonating with you? Go ahead and put that in the chat as we continue tonight.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. And as our team member Anne said, we need you. Yeah. This fight requires all of us to take action. Tonight, we as abolitionists get to bring freedom to others. Yes. And so we have that goal tonight of $500,000, and don't forget that we have a $100,000 match on the table.
First
right
$100,000, guys.
That's right. So right now we are at about $53,000, which is incredible. Yeah. And as a reminder, 100% of everything that you give tonight goes directly to ending slavery. That's what we get to be a part of.
Yeah, and what we are seeing unfold before us, $53,228, it just proves that nothing can stand in the way of generosity, not even slavery. And so we are committed to step up and say, we're not going to stand for it. Yeah. So continue to make those donations, and let's continue freedom.
That's right. And Laura, I think you wanted to share with us a quote from a survivor.
Yes, this is one quote that I absolutely love. It comes from a survivor in Uganda. And just like every donation matters, every life matters.
That's right.
And what you're bringing to the table, it is showing up for each individual life. And so I want you to hear this quote from one of our survivors in Uganda. She says, "I am happy. I can feel the pain going away. Today, I am getting back to my dreams. I have always wanted to be a fashion designer, and my counselor found a solution. Now, I'm studying to make it a reality." Friends, this is why we do what we do. That right there, the power of a transformed life. She is able to dream. She is able to have hope and go after things she never thought was possible. We are here to restore justice and freedom.
Yes, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. And you know, sometimes words don't fully encompass this vast mission and the impact that we're making. Sometimes, I know for me, song and music actually just brings it all together. And so we have an incredible honor tonight. We have a Dove-winning recording artist, Ginny Owens, who is joining us tonight. She has a little bit of her story that she wants to share, and she has written a song. This song was written for you and this community of abolitionists. So will you please welcome with me, Ginny Owens.
Hi, I'm Ginny Owens, and I, like you, am so thankful for the anti-trafficking work of Rescue Freedom. A couple of years ago, I got to join the Rescue Freedom crew for a partner gathering that took place in Bangkok, Thailand. And my task there was to lead a daily time of worship and singing. Before we went to the conference, I took a risk and wrote a theme song for us to sing together during the week, or maybe just once if it fell flat. The last line of the chorus says, "Our hope is undefeated." I figured this was an idea that every partner could get behind, regardless of where they were from, but I didn't know just how true that would prove to be. I went to the partner gathering a fan of anti-trafficking work. But as I spent time with partners, listening to their stories, I became more than a fan. I began to feel the weight of this work they were doing. I began to get a sense of how challenging this fight actually is, and how workers daily sacrifice their own comfort, their time, and their safety, and keep showing up to face the obstacles that come with rescuing people from slavery. And as I heard their stories and how often workers found themselves in nearly hopeless situations, but they didn't give up hope, and then when I heard them raise their voices together in singing the last line of the song, "Our hope is undefeated," I was changed by their courage. I wish you could have heard their strong voices as they bravely declared that they would hold on to hope. But if you weren't there with us in Thailand, I want you to imagine their singing now as I share this song with you. We break the silence, shatter the night, carry their wounds, the tears they cry. We walk in darkness with raging light. We're bringing life. We were not made to be held under. We were born to roar like thunder. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. We will march on, relentless soldiers. Stand strong until it's over. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. Hope is undefeated. The pain around us is not the end. We'll face the darkness hand in hand. The day is upon us, will make us stand. We were not made to be held under. We were born to roar like thunder. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. We will march on, relentless soldiers. Stand strong until it's over. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. The world will rise around us. We will not hide in fear. The one who fends for freedom is fighting for us here. Our hope is undefeated. Our hope is undefeated. We were not made to be held under. You are born to roar like thunder. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. We will march on, relentless soldiers. Stand strong until it's over. We are the fight for freedom. Our hope is undefeated. Hope is undefeated. Our hope is undefeated.
My name's Del, and I'm part of the team here at Rescue Freedom, and my focus is our global operations and our programs, so I get to share with you some updates on the strategies that we're creating and the work that we're doing together to end sex trafficking for good. Now, every year, millions of men, women, and children are trafficked around the globe, including right here in the United States. The victims are of any age and affects every race, gender, and nationality. We've seen that the best way to tackle this global problem is actually through holistic local solutions. I don't know if you remember as a kid, but I sure remember setting up dominoes and then making them fall in a chain reaction until they were all on the table. Well, that's a bit how we see our strategy on this issue. We've narrowed it down to 12 key solutions, or 12 dominoes, that have to be created, aligned, and then effectively toppled to end sex trafficking, the ultimate solution for sex trafficking. So if trafficking was a virus, these 12 solutions applied through effective programs in every region would be the vaccine. So our job is developing partners and programs that offer these 12 solutions in every country where we work. Our solutions are things like awareness, legislation, law enforcement, prevention, counter-demand, outreach, rescue, restoration, and empowerment. Every one of our 153 programs push against the domino right now standing in one of the 21 countries in which we work. And it's working. So far this year, our programs have impacted 124,408 survivors, victims, and at-risk individuals. We served 1,401 individuals in residential care alone. Since 2017, the total number of people rescued is 2,294. So the strategy's working really, really well. Dominoes are teetering. We're making a significant impact. Now, if we can scale this and get all of these 12 solutions working effectively in every region of the world, over time, the virus of sex trafficking will be eradicated. There's 3 ways that we build out these 12 solutions. We accelerate, we incubate, and we innovate. Let me explain a little bit about each of those. The primary way that our model works, that we get this work done, is through what we call acceleration. Whenever possible, we identify a local partner who is on the front lines in their community addressing one or more of these solutions, and we come alongside them to accelerate their work. Now, you saw a video just a few minutes ago of one of our local partners. They're in Thailand with Anne. When we began working with them in 2017, they were a single safe home in downtown Bangkok. Today, you saw them operating multiple safe homes, outreach, prevention, education programs in Bangkok and Pattaya. They have a separate 5-story facility now for counseling, job training, and transitional housing. During COVID, they launched programs in one of the most vulnerable neighborhoods to stop the unusually high number of boys and girls being trafficked out of that neighborhood. You saw that neighborhood on that video. Acceleration took us from safe homes to preventing people from ever needing one in the first place. That's the power of acceleration. That's why it's the majority of the way in which we do our work. The second way our model takes shape is what we call incubation. So if a key solution is unaddressed, there's no suitable local partner that we can come alongside and accelerate, we actually kickstart a new local partner or a new organization through a process that we call incubation. For example, the Middle East is the place where the least amount of anti-trafficking work is currently done. Everyone knows there's a high volume of trafficking there, but very few have ventured into trying to work there until now. We're part of a small team that's been invited to work with a certain Middle Eastern government to train law enforcement to how to identify victims, training client care teams on evidence-based, trauma-informed technique. So this agency was not already in existence. We're incubating this so that we can ensure the success of a venture that we feel is absolutely essential to defeat trafficking in this key region that's underserved. So We accelerate as often as we can. When that's not an option, we look to incubate a new partner. And if neither of those are possible, the third track that we take is what we call innovation, which means we'll create the program ourselves that addresses the solution needed in a particular region. For example, there's a significant push to legalize prostitution here in the US, as well as in many countries around the globe. Now, we believe that's going to have a devastating effect on this work. It's going to draw more people to be purchasers of sex. More traffickers will operate brothels as a result of that, and that's going to draw more and more victims into this. We've been considering partners that we can accelerate their public policy work, and in analyzing the urgency of the situation, we decided we needed to play a more catalytic role in this particular domino. So Rita Hernandez, who serves as our regional coordinator for Latin America, she has her PhD in public policy, and her dissertation was specifically addressing policy to abolish sex trafficking. So with decades of experience of work on the ground, decades of policy work, Rita has moved into the role of policy director at Rescue Freedom so we can aggressively drive innovation on this issue here and globally. So all of that to say, when we say we have 29 partners operating 153 programs, sometimes that can just fly right by us without realizing how significant those numbers really are. And what I want you to hear tonight is this. We have a global network of abolitionists fighting day in, day out to strategically dismantle slavery around the globe. And we're doing it, all of this for the one. We do it all for the one life that we can set free from slavery together. In fact, out of the 19 new programs that we launched around the globe during COVID-19, our most ambitious project was launching a new safe home in Colombia, and that home is led by a survivor. She was sharing with me why she's so passionate about this effort, and she shared that when she was being trafficked, her trafficker had hung a hook just inside the front door of her home. And he would point to that every day, and he would tell her, someday you are going to hang yourself on that hook. This is where it will end for you. He wanted her to believe that she was trapped, that she had no hope, that there was no way out. But she went to the police, and the day that he was arrested, she went back to her home and she hung a light on that hook. I asked her why she didn't remove it, and she said, well, I can't remove my past, but I can repurpose it. And that's why I'm so excited to run this new home to remind girls just like me that there's a purpose, hope, there's healing and light for them. And I love her story because I think it clearly points us back to the whole reason why we do what we do. It's for her. It's for every person in those 46 safe homes tonight. It's for the thousands that we're working with in outreach programs to get them into a restoration program one day. It's for the hundreds of thousands that we're preventing from this tragedy ever being part of their story. Every individual has a name. They're known by our teams. Each of them has a story. And with you, we get to add freedom and light to the next chapter of that story. Honestly, as good as all of this is going, and I love giving you the updates, we have a lot more to get done. Every week, we stare down a list of opportunities to accelerate, pushing down a domino in a new region, adding a new partner in a new country. Even this week, we were strategizing, how do we launch the only safe home for sex trafficking victims in the entire country of Belize? And at the same time, we need to launch a new program that's going to prevent hundreds from being trafficked in Cambodia. There's this sense of it's going so well, and at the same time, this constant awareness of how much more we have yet to get done. But we get to do it together, and that's why it's getting done. And that's why I want to introduce you to some of our teammates around the globe. I mentioned Rita earlier. She's one of our regional coordinators who runs anti-trafficking agencies and has for decades. Now she spends a lot of her time accelerating the work of local partners throughout Latin America, and she leads our global policy efforts. I can't wait for you to meet her. Here's Rita.
Hi everyone, my name is Rita Hernandez and I am the Regional Coordinator of Latin America and Spain for Rescue Freedom, and I'm very excited to get to share with you everything that's going on in our region. We have been busy during this COVID season. We have not stopped and it has been amazing. We have 6 wonderful, strong, committed, and faithful partners in this region. We have 2 partners in Colombia, 1 partner in Bolivia, another partner in Costa Rica, another partner in Mexico, and another partner in Madrid, Spain. And let me tell you, they have been active. And so grateful for the support they receive from all of the partners at Rescue Freedom. So during the COVID season, we opened a brand new shelter in Colombia, fast-tracked a partner so this could happen. And today, 8 women and their children are living protected in this beautiful shelter. And let me tell you, it's filled with life. We have so many children there. We have a pair of twins and a brand new baby that was just born a couple of days ago. And we're so happy to be able to partner with Claudia Quintero in this effort. And these women are thriving under her care. So we're really excited about that. Another really good story is that we were able to provide all of the necessary connections to make sure that a victim that was being enslaved in France could be able to be transported back home to Colombia and received by our shelter, our partner shelter in Bogota, that provided the care and the protection that she needed to make sure that she was healed enough to be able to later on go home. They're still in contact with her and providing services for her from all the way from Bogota to her home in the south of the country. And so that was just an amazing effort of cooperation between partners and between governments so that this repatriation could take place. I'm just so grateful to all of you for your commitment to this work. If you just knew about everything that goes on in the work that our partners do in this region, you would just be blown away. I cannot just, sound the horn loud enough for the work that our partners do in Latin America and in Spain. And I just want to thank you. I think that we would not be able to do anything that we do if you were not part of the Rescue Freedom family. I know that you are committed to ending slavery in the world and that you are just so faithful in your giving that we can all just rest in knowing that we could continue the work that Rescue Freedom does until everyone is free. Thank you so much.
Next, I want to take you to Cambodia to visit one of our 2 partners there. Jesse's going to walk you through what prevention, one of our key dominoes, looks like in the Southeast Asian context. Now, I want to encourage you to really lean in as she's painting the picture of how they push that domino hard to intervene in the lives of young women to make them resilient against the pressures of trafficking. Here's Jessie.
We are an anti-trafficking organization with a sustainable model to prevent exploitation of adolescent girls in Cambodia. But we don't just want to keep them safe, we want them to live out their dreams. Rather than treating girls at high risk as some sort of targeted victims, we acknowledge that the majority of trafficking in Cambodia and Southeast Asia starts with a voluntary move. It's a girl without the resources, the opportunity, or the support network who makes a very short-sighted decision with dangerous consequences. So we focus on her agency and her choice. We have met so many girls who've been trafficked or exploited in Cambodia. And what if we could determine the moment and the motivation that got her there? Could we prevent it? So not even 2 years ago, we entered into a partnership with Rescue Freedom. We found out that they were committed to more than just rescue. They were willing to invest in a model that would someday make rescue unnecessary in Cambodia. And now together, we are changing the future of anti-trafficking and the future for girls in Phnom Penh. This has only been possible because we continue to run towards, not from, enormous challenges. Here's one example. When COVID-19 hit, communities across Cambodia were devastated by job losses, which drastically affected the affordability of things like food and healthcare. The impact on families left girls more vulnerable than ever to exploitation in their communities and bogus offers from traffickers. In the past, we relied heavily on government schools in order to identify girls at risk. But earlier this year, after all schools in the country were shut down, we no longer had a way to reach them. So we came to the Rescue Freedom team with an idea, and you all acted quickly to make it happen. Within a week, we were able to launch a crisis hotline to reach girls anywhere in the country, and we named it the Freedom Line. The Freedom Line is Cambodia's first ever anti-trafficking crisis hotline specifically for adolescent girls, protecting them from trafficking, exploitation, and other abuse. These are girls with nowhere else to turn. The hotline is staffed by our certified social workers who field incoming calls, perform assessments, and provide appropriate intervention to keep girls safe. For a while, many girls began calling in simply because they were hungry. So for the first time ever, we found ourselves distributing hundreds of emergency food and sanitation packages. Why? Because it kept girls safe. Quickly, the word spread that we offered real, immediate help, and the calls started pouring in. We are now identifying more girls at risk than ever before. Take Shreneith, for example. She's 15 years old with 2 younger sisters, one of whom is a baby. Her mother just left her husband, Shreneith's stepfather, on suspicion of abusing the girls. But he still makes unwanted visits to the house, and Shreneith was feeling pressure to drop out of school to support the family any way she could. And any way she could would likely lead to exploitative work or worse, trafficking. When we received Shreneith's call on the Freedom Line, we instantly provided emergency food and hygiene relief to keep her and her sisters fed and safe while we sorted out what to do. Fast forward 2 months and her family is now food secure. Her mother has learned how to protect themselves in a network that we have provided. Shreneith is now studying by e-learning on her smartphone via the Ministry of Education and Facebook Live. She has 24-hour access to our team for anything else that she needs. But the next part is up to her, building her own future. So we are also providing a safe environment and access to training, mentorship, leadership opportunities, and educational support. She will be building her skills and confidence to do remarkable things. Traffickers cannot prey on a girl who is protected, educated, and motivated. We envision a world that is free of trafficking and exploitation, and never before has the opportunity to lower the risk been given to those directly at risk. We plan to look back and see a generation of girls who took that opportunity. And none of this could be possible without the Freedom Line or Rescue Freedom.
You can tell the prevention domino in Cambodia is really being pushed hard. I want to take you next to one of our partners in Europe, in Spain. Spain is a significant portal country for women from all over the world trafficked into Europe. And one of our oldest partnerships happens to be here, and over the years, they've expanded to push on nearly every domino. They operate a hub-and-spoke model of outreach, prevention, education, and rescue operations across the entire country that feed into central restoration services based in Madrid. Some of you were aware this year through social media channels that Carolina, who is about to share with you, was our first teammate globally to contract COVID-19. She was 8 months pregnant at the time, and we almost lost her. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She is now fully recovered and is super grateful to all of you who prayed her through this very difficult time. I can't wait for you to meet her. Here's Carolina.
Muy buenas, Rescue Freedom. Qué emoción poder pasar este tiempo juntos y poder mandarles un saludo desde España. Bienvenidos a esta Cena por la Libertad virtual. Quiero presentarme, soy Carolina Sánchez, directora de Amar Dragoste, que es un socio local de Rescue Freedom aquí en España, y quiero contarles un poquito del trabajo que estamos realizando aquí en España. Como saben, este es uno de los lugares principales de destino de trata de personas con fines de explotación, sobre todo la explotación sexual. Somos el número 1 en Europa y el tercero en el mundo en consumo de prostitución, y nuestro trabajo aquí en España es rescatar a cada una de las víctimas de trata, y tenemos varios recursos residenciales donde trabajamos por la restauración de cada una de las supervivientes. Y además, en añadido, tenemos un proyecto de sensibilización e incidencia política donde estamos luchando para que haya cambios en nuestras leyes y para que nuestra cultura cambie en profundidad. Y quiero aprovechar para hablarles acerca del proyecto en tiempos del COVID. Ha sido tiempos muy difíciles, incluso a nivel personal estuve muy enferma, pero gracias a Dios ya estoy bien y seguimos en la lucha y en la batalla por cada una de las supervivientes. Pero dentro de toda la dificultad que hemos vivido, hemos continuado trabajando, hemos continuado rescatando a cada una de las mujeres e incluso gracias a cada uno de vosotros hemos podido ayudar en estos tiempos de tanta dificultad en el COVID. Hemos podido ayudar a muchas mujeres que ya se habían graduado del programa, les hemos podido continuar apoyando con ingresos para que no se encuentren en riesgo, para que no se encuentren vulnerables e incluso hemos podido ayudar a las familias de las mujeres que tenemos en acogida, a cada una de las supervivientes. Han sido tiempos muy especiales dentro de toda la dificultad y eso es gracias a cada uno de vosotros, de verdad, gracias. Y quiero hablaros acerca de Coffee Life, un sueño cumplido para nosotros. Es un negocio único en España, es un negocio por la libertad, es un negocio para cada una de las supervivientes de Casa Refugio. El objetivo de este programa es que cada una de las supervivientes que se encuentran en el programa de restauración puedan tener una formación, puedan tener un contacto con el mundo laboral, un primer empleo. Entonces, nosotros nos esforzamos para que cada una de ellas pueda tener un tiempo especial y su enseñanza es individualizada para cada una de ellas. Aprenden, toman contacto con la clientela, aprenden el idioma, aprenden una nueva formación en la hostelería que les impulsa y que les lanza al sueño del mundo laboral en España. Luchamos por la reinserción, luchamos por la libertad, vida a vida. Cada una de ellas es importante. Gracias por formar parte de Rescue Freedom en España.
So incredibly inspiring. And I just want to take a moment and say how much has happened since we were last in front of you guys. We are nearly at $150,000
Incredible.
raised. And I have to say, I've been enjoying the gifts that have been popping up.
It's been a lot of fun to be with each other tonight.
Fun, yes.
So each of these stories that we heard tonight, those are only a few of the many stories of impact that we are making around the globe with this giant global network team. And so each of these stories represents a domino, like Del talked about, a key solution that we are pushing against in this fight to end slavery. When you heard about Colombia and the emergency shelter that we were able to open during COVID-19, that allowed us to create rescue and intervention for more women and their families in that region. In Cambodia, with the Freedom Line, they talked about how they were able to identify more girls at risk for human trafficking than they've ever had, and that's prevention. That is a beautiful example of us preventing others from entering slavery in the first place. And in Spain, you got to see the coffee shop that we helped to fund. This is a domino of survivor empowerment. They are providing tools and training, vocational training and knowledge to be able to start new careers. And as Del said, when we push against all these dominoes strategically and effectively across all countries with the same amount of pressure, we eventually get to abolition, which is what we are fighting for tonight. And so, Laura, will you do the honors for us?
Jackie, I thought you would never ask. Actually, let's be honest. I knew you were going to ask, but I was patiently waiting for this moment.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's what we're fighting for tonight, you guys.
And that was incredibly satisfying. And you know what else is satisfying is when you go and you hit that big red donate button and you give tonight to continue the topple of these dominoes.
That's right. And this is what it looks like to fight human trafficking and win. This is what we're doing tonight. We are fighting for a future that looks different than right now, a future of freedom.
Yeah, friends, and we cannot get there without you. We say this often, but it is true. When you said, I am going to tune in tonight, you chose to bring your light. And we are a community that knows that we are supposed to rise up and be people that choose to bring light into the darkest spaces. So I want to take a moment and just paint a picture for you. Just look around in the space that you're in right now. There is no absence of light, right? Whether it is a lamp sitting next to you, whether it's the glow of your iPad, iPhone, or computer, there is light present where you are. And we have hundreds of people tuning in from around the globe. And when we think about all of the light that is in our space and we choose to bring that together, It is a massive glow that no darkness can stand a chance, right? And that is what we are here. We are showing up as a massive bright light that is going to go in and illuminate those dark spaces.
That's right. And when we come together as a community, anything is possible. And we know that we have people tuning in from 50 different states across the United States, and we've gone global, 14 different countries. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. As you know, we have a goal of $500,000 tonight. The night is not over.
Not over.
It's
not
only
over.
begun.
Where's that donate button?
That's right.
Find it. Go find it.
Let's keep pushing back that darkness and creating more opportunities for freedom. And if you've been waiting for the right moment to give, this is a great moment to give tonight. And while you consider what gift you will give, we have another incredible recording artist, Jessica Martindale. She's here tonight to share with us an encouraging story and to share with us a song. And so will you please welcome with me, Jessica Martindale.
Good evening and welcome to the first ever virtual Freedom Dinner. My name is Jessica Martindale and I'm here with you in Los Angeles, California. It was 5 years ago that I went with the Rescue Freedom team to India. And I have so many memories of dancing with survivors, of hearing their hopes and dreams, of how they're pursuing education so they can become doctors and teachers and social workers and go back for the next generation. It was wildly, wildly beautiful and motivating. But there was one moment in particular that really stood out to me that I wanted to share with you tonight. We went, and I really appreciate this, we went to the happy, light, positive, look what good stuff is coming, but we also went to the red light district to be reminded of how much is left to be done. And we went and visited a safe house in the middle of Old Delhi's red light district, which is the oldest one. It predates the Taj Mahal, over 600 years old. This place has been around for a really long time, and it has the darkness that feels like this place has only seen darkness for over 600 years. And suddenly, dark, grimy, gross smelling walls become white walls with flowers draped down and warm women who are there to welcome you. These women have created this safe house in the middle of one of the darkest places, if not the darkest place I have ever been. They created a place that is full of light with the intention of, I know what you do for work, but you can come here and I will see your soul and I will say it is good. You can get medical care. You can get needs met here. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. When we left, our bus was not where it was supposed to be. Most places, no big deal. The middle of Old Delhi red light district, that's a big deal. And all these men who had been kind of wandering around suddenly noticed us and started getting closer, and our group started getting tense. You could tell the alertness among all of us had just heightened. And while these tensions are high, I look up and I see these women watching us from behind bars. And I try to smile at them and they kind of smile back at me. And then our bus comes and I get on it and I'm looking out the window at these women. And I just have this overwhelming sense of, I got on a bus. I get to leave. And I mulled over that for a few days and then it hit me. You guys, we are their bus. It's up to us. I've heard Jeremy say, this isn't a mysterious fight that we're fighting. Light just needs to be brighter than the darkness. I wrote this song for them and I am happy to share it with you tonight. No time or attention or resources or conversation are too small. We need all of it to fight the immense amount of darkness that's out there right now. And we can do it. I believe in that. We can do it.
This world tries to break you down. This world tries to hide you. But Darkness can't fight the light that comes to find you. Lifting up our hands in a sign of freedom. Together as we stand and dream of who we could become. And I will remember you till there's no fighting left to do. I will remember you till you're next to me fighting too. I will remember you. Oh, you were not where you have been. You are not what you've seen. You are hope, your joy, you are resiliency. And I will remember you till there's no fighting left to do. I will remember you till you're next to me fighting too. I will remember you. I will remember you. I will remember you till there's no fighting left to do. I will remember you till you're next to me fighting too. I will remember you. Oh.
Jess, thank you so much. I love that song, and I'm so glad that you shared that with us and that our community got to hear that song tonight and that story. What a profound and simple idea of we are that bus. This community represents that bus, that pathway out, that road to freedom. And we are so incredibly excited that you're joining us tonight. Our team's kind of freaking out over here a little bit because we just hit 217,000, and we're gonna go ahead and add in the $100,000 match because people have been texting saying, hey, when are you gonna add that? Did you add it in yet? So we're gonna add that right now. So that will take us momentarily up to $317,000 so far, including that $100,000 match. So thank you so much for leaning in and partnering with us tonight. I wanted to share another little story from that trip with Jess. That trip was about 5 years ago, and it was such a joy for me to get to take Jess and a few other friends to India. And I'll never forget, it was one of those moments that stood out for me. We were actually visiting one of the boys' homes, and the girls from the nearby girls' home had come, and we had all come together to kind of have a day of fun and games. And that morning, Jess found out that her grandpa had passed away. And so obviously was feeling heavy-hearted, and we went to the home, and the kids could tell that something was wrong and that she was feeling sad. And as they found out what had happened, these kids asked if they could just gather around Jess and kind of mourn with her and say a prayer for her. And for me, just standing back and watching these kids, most of whom were born into brothels, most of them never knew a grandparent, and seeing how they had adopted this new friend from the other side of the world and were mourning with her the loss of a family member. And for me, it just showed me the power of these kids. They didn't know, many of them didn't know family. They didn't even have a concept for family. And they had come into this safe house where they received love and family. And then they could welcome a stranger in and share in her grief as she mourned the loss of a family member. And just seeing this community rally together, this picture of, abolitionism abolitionists from America coming together with kids in a Rescue Freedom local partner safe house, joined together as a community, celebrating the life of a grandpa. That what we have the opportunity to do tonight is to unite a community around the world who binds together, a family united around this idea of freedom. That tonight we get to be a part of setting people free and changing generations. You've heard that theme tonight of what we do doesn't just impact one. Yes, it's critical to end slavery one life at a time, but what we start is a generational chain reaction that changes the trajectory of everybody that comes after them. So I just want to invite you another time to dig deep, to give generously. I'm just so inspired by the way that our community is showing up tonight as we navigate this first virtual live stream event together. But we are so encouraged and so inspired by what you are doing tonight on behalf of freedom around the world. Well, I have the really distinct privilege right now to introduce another friend of mine, someone who's had a big impact on my life. I moved to Washington, D.C. 15 years ago, and I'll never forget, I had the opportunity to go into the U.S. Capitol building to visit the chaplain of the United States Senate. And he's an incredible man who was the highest ranking chaplain in the U.S. Navy. But the thing that struck me the most is at the end of our time together when he asked if we could pray. And as he started to pray, it was almost as if he had this bat phone, this direct line to God. He just started to pray, and the depths of his sincerity just really impacted my heart. And, you know, at a time when a lot of us, we hear what's happening in Washington, D.C., and we hear about political divisions, I'm just so grateful that there's a man like Chaplain Barry Black who is serving in our U.S. Senate, crossing party lines to bring hope, to bring love, to bring faith to Capitol Hill. We need that now as much as ever. And I know that tonight you will be deeply impacted by Chaplain Barry Black, and you will understand why our government voted him into this really critical office as the chaplain to the United States Senate. So will you join me in a benediction with Chaplain Barry Black?
Let us pray. Loving Lord, we thank you for what we have experienced today because of Rescue Freedom. We thank you for the presence of your Holy Spirit who has guided our thoughts and our responses to the challenge that we now embrace. Challenge us, O Lord, when we are too well pleased with ourselves, when our dreams come true, because they are not large enough. When we arrive safely, simply because we have sailed too close to the shore. Challenge us, Almighty God, when we fail to join you in your messianic thrust to bring deliverance to captives, the recovery of sight to the ethically, morally, and spiritually blind, and to set at liberty those who are bruised. Challenge us, mighty God, when we fail to give an affirmative response to the 6 questions in the judgment story in Matthew chapter 25. Did you feed the hungry? Did you give water to the thirsty? Did you clothe the naked? Did you visit the sick? Did you minister to the incarcerated who are within your gates? Challenge us, mighty God, to dare more boldly, to venture on wider seas, where storms will show your mastery, where losing sight of land, we will find your stars. We commit ourselves to being your agents, to being your instruments, to rescue the perishing, to care for the dying. For we pray this prayer in the name of the one who left the chants of cherubims and the songs of seraphim. We pray this prayer in the name of the one who left unpolluted breezes and undarkened days to make a breakthrough at Bethlehem, to rescue and to liberate humanity. We pray in that name that is above every name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen Amen and amen.
Laura, what a powerful benediction and a challenge to all of us to use our time, our resources, to seek out the vulnerable, to serve. And that is what we're here to do tonight, to seek out the vulnerable and to provide freedom for them.
Clearly, you all were inspired during that last segment because we are well over $300,000, $331,000, and donations continue to come in. We continue to see the bubbles come up. So we are not done yet. We are not done yet.
And actually, Laura, I mean, I didn't think anything could get any more exciting tonight, but we actually have a surprise for you.
I can't.
I know.
My heart cannot handle any more excitement.
So if you have not given yet, now is your moment.
Now's the moment. Get ready, you guys.
This is it. This is your time. And if you have already given tonight, you might be inspired to give again in this moment.
I do. Where's my phone?
I know,
Someone
right?
Give me my phone. Yeah.
So tonight we have a surprise. We have an additional $20,000 match.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And so for the next 80 people that give $250, that will be matched dollar for dollar tonight.
Yeah, friends, whatever you can give, tonight is the night that we refuse to let slavery and injustice continue for women and children around the world. Make that statement. Whatever you are able to give, whether it's $50 or $100, we have that $20,000 match on the table, and every gift matters because every life matters, and we're not going to stop until all are free.
That's right. We are fighting for this vision of a future where all are treated with dignity and value and are loved and equal. That is what we're fighting for, that every man, woman, and child would have purpose and be able to pursue their dreams for their life, where they are free, and each of us has a role in this fight to play.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the each life that is so meaningful, and we actually have a number of 12 rescues that happen every single week.
Yes, incredible.
Because of what you are doing, and that is reason enough to not stop. We want to turn that 12 into 13, into 14, into 15 as we expand across the globe, as we expand beyond 21 countries, and it's going to happen because you are selecting that donate button, or you are giving via check or donor advice fund, and you are pledging, and you are getting us closer and closer to that goal of $500,000. Friends, we can do it. Even after this broadcast stops, we can continue to show up, and we must continue to show up. So $20,000 in matching funds is on the table right now. Will you be part of someone's freedom story?
That's right, and we get to celebrate rescues year after year. And since 2017, we've been able to rescue 2,294 people.
Yeah.
That's over 2,000 lives
incredible.
that have been completely transformed. That is what we're doing here tonight. And so whatever you can give, $50, $100, that is going to be matched right now.
Yeah, and one of those lives that we are speaking of is a 43-year-old woman that was in sexual slavery for 27 years, was freed this year.
Yeah.
Was freed this year. Not just rescued, but she owns her own laundry business now. She has gone from vulnerable to empowered because of what you are doing, because you are choosing to show up tonight. Let's continue to bring what we have to the table, whether it's 50, 100, 250. Right now, we have matching funds, $20,000.
That's right. And as you've heard stories from tonight, and if you've followed us on social media, you have heard stories all year, just reflecting on the year. Survivors have been pursuing degrees in law and mathematics. They've been going back to school, some for the first time in their entire lives. That is what we are doing tonight. Women are starting families. There's new hope, and there's so much more to fight for. As Del said, we are doing incredible work in 21 countries, but there is so much more to do. Every single day, we have to make a choice on how we're going to use these funds. And so tonight, we get to raise even more money. And this match is really exciting. I mean, we just keep seeing funds come in.
Yeah, and it is bringing it back to that one. I want to read another quote this evening, and it comes from a survivor in Swaziland. So she was rescued, but not just rescued. She was brought into a restorative care program, and she has a new home. And listen to what she has to say about her new home. I know my home. The sound of birds singing, the smell of blooming flowers ready to show their beauty, the sight of beautiful girls with a smile on their faces, the taste of being wanted and loved, the feeling of not wanting to leave this place, wishing to stay forever. I know my home. She knows her home because people like you are choosing to say, you know what, your life is valuable. Your freedom is worth fighting for. So friends, continue to come to the table and bring what you have, $20,000 in matching funds right now. It is so exciting. Wow.
You know, during this year, we have had, it's just been a really unknown year. And there's just been a lot of darkness during COVID-19. And one of the things that we got to celebrate this year is that there was a silver lining. When COVID-19 was happening, there were red light districts around the globe that were shutting down for the first time in decades. And we were able to jump into action. We took something that was dark and we brought light. And so with our global team around the world, we were able to provide food and emergency shelter like we talked about in Colombia, and hygiene items and resources that these vulnerable families needed. Because when we gave those resources, we were preventing them from having to sell their child. We were preventing them from being trapped into a life of slavery. That is what we did together this year, and we continue that work because red light districts, many of them are still shut down. And so because of you, we were able to jump into action and provide those emergency funds. Our global network, that Freedom Line, that we talked about tonight, that is the recognized hotline in Cambodia. It is changing lives. It is rescuing girls that we just wouldn't have even known needed that rescue. And so there's more work to be done. There's more work to be done. COVID-19, it's still a reality, not only for us, but for families around the globe. And so to continue that work, to expand that work, to be able to do everything that we need to do, we need to continue to raise funds tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jackie, I want to read another quote from one of our survivors, who is a 22-year-old girl from India. She says, I am so excited to reach my dream of studying business management at university. I also have a part-time job so I can support my family. I am happy with what I have done and am now doing. I want all girls all over the world to get a great chance like I have been given. Me for a better future without exploitation. That, words do not lie, straight out of the mouth of a girl who was brought out of slavery into restorative care and is now being empowered to provide for her family, literally stopping the generational cycle of slavery. That is what we are doing, and that is what we must continue doing until that last domino falls and we have abolished slavery.
That's right. And so like we said, we have a $20,000 match. We are continuing, we're continuing to see money roll in, funds roll in. You guys are so generous. And like we said earlier, nearly half of you are newer to Rescue Freedom. And so we are so excited to be welcoming you in this community. When you take action tonight as you are, that means you're an abolitionist. You are with us. You have joined this fight. And I promise you that now that you have joined, you will never be the same again.
So true.
You will never be the same again because when you choose to impact that life, you get a picture in your head. Think about all of those videos that we saw. These are real faces. These are real survivors who have real dreams and they want to pursue them, and we have the opportunity to take action. We have a choice.
Friends.
We all have a choice, and that is a luxury to have a choice. And so we get to use our choice to be able to provide that purpose into these girls' lives, just like Benza, just like we talked about earlier.
And you are essential. We are proclaiming that loud and clear. You are essential. I just want to take a moment and just have a moment wherever you are, if you are gathering with people, or if you are just with a couple people, or if it's you and your dog, doesn't matter what it is, but I want you to take a moment. We're going to take this moment with you, and I just want us to declare, I am essential. Can we do that together?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I am essential. I didn't hear it in the back.
Yeah, louder for the
hear it
people in the back.
I am essential.
Friends, you are essential in the fight against slavery. We are so blessed. We are blessed to be free, and we must take that freedom and use it for the freedom of others. Let's continue to do this, friends.
It's so amazing. And you guys, we're so close.
Yes, we're so close.
We're at 392,000. We are believing we can get to 400,000 and even beyond.
Yes, and we haven't even added that $20,000
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And so it's an honor to be a part of this team, a part of this fight. Our global partner network is incredible. And like we talked about earlier, those 3 stories and videos that we saw, those are only a fraction of the work that it's being done around the globe. And yet everything that they talked about, I mean, it's just incredible to imagine that being magnified year over year. We have grown so much.
Exponentially.
Our global network has grown over the
Jackie,
years.
I remember when I first came to know about Rescue Freedom, it was back in 2017. And in 2017, Rescue Freedom was in 5 countries.
5.
Where are we now? In 2020, just nearly, not even 4 years later, 21 countries. That shows that the model is working.
That's right.
That there is sustainable growth that is happening within this organization. And it's because you continue to show up, and we're able to take the funds that are coming in and use them in real time and continue to move things in the right direction.
And you know,
I'm just going to interrupt. I'm just going to interrupt because I just got word that the $250 donations came in, so we hit the 20K mark. So that's going to be added right now to the total.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you all so much. I just had to interject that. I was too excited. Carry on.
You get to be part of our celebration. Well, yes.
So, it was just added. Look at that. $420,000.
And there's more.
There's more coming in. You know what makes Rescue Freedom unique? There's a couple of things, but we talk about that global partner network. What's so beautiful about that network is that these are abolitionists who are on the ground, who are trained. They know where the red light districts are. They know each individual's story, and they're able to provide incredible care that is unique and unique to every single individual. Their stories are unique, and so the care, the restorative care that they need is unique. And so we, as a global partner network, we are able to work, exponentially because of that, because we have feet on the ground, and we are one global team. And as Del talked about, that strategy of those dominoes, we have identified exactly what it's going to take to end human trafficking. How incredible is that? And we're able to then strategically decide what kind of programs are we going to invest in? Which countries do we need to go in next to end the fight, to end human trafficking? And that, to me, has always been something that has set Rescue Freedom apart. And the work that we do is powerful, and it's working. That strategy is working, and we just need to continue that work together.
So so exciting.
Well, again, I am just still kind of in awe of our first ever virtual event, the way that all of you have shown up. It's been amazing to watch the comments, to see my phone erupting, and to see the way, I mean, I love when we get to highlight our community around the world. But one of the things that I'll never forget is there was a trip when we took one of our abolitionists from the States to meet with a bunch of our partners, and there was a point where that person said to them, like, I want to thank you for what you're doing in the fight against slavery. And that local safe house director looked back at this donor, this abolitionist, and said, what do you mean what I'm doing? It's what we're doing. Like, what I do would never happen without you. It's not you just, enabling something over here. Like, we are in this together. And our partners have been commenting tonight. I've been getting texts from our partners around the world. Like, this is truly a community united. It's not just us together supporting something on the other side of the world. It is all around the world, abolitionists uniting, fighting slavery here in the United States and 20 other countries around the world. So thank you for leaning in so much, believing with us for this first ever virtual Freedom Dinner.
Yeah, and around here at Rescue Freedom, we love to celebrate. We love to throw a party and celebrate when celebration is due.
Yes.
And we're gonna take a moment to do that tonight. So will you go and grab something that makes noise, whether it's a hand clapper, cowbell, triangle, a pot, a pan, it doesn't matter, just grab something to celebrate, because we have to celebrate what was raised tonight. We're going to continue towards that 500,000 and beyond, because we will not stop until all are free. But we must take a moment
We must celebrate now
and celebrate that we have raised
$444,000. So amazing. And we're still...
Wait.
Oh my gosh, okay.
We've got a $50,000 donation.
Wow. Wow.
Just right now.
Absolutely incredible.
Okay,
we gotta re-celebrate.
Okay,
we gotta re-celebrate.
But no, let's stop. Let's stop.
Wait.
I think we have it in there to get to 500,000.
I think we can do 500,000.
I think we can get to 500,000.
I believe it in my bones. I know it.
in my bones. We have
we're just gonna give it a minute.
Yeah,
just
a minute.
We have just over $500,000 to get to that goal. Friends, if you
just over $5,000 left.
just over $5,000 left to get to that goal of 500,000. I think you can do it, friends.
This is a lot of suspense.
I know,
This is a lot of suspense.
50 states.
We're putting it out. This is a risk
countries.
for us. We're putting it out there that we can do this. So whether you have $5, $10, $20, $100, $1,000, let's go, friends. Let's see that money come in before we turn off this broadcast.
I love the comments and the gifs.
Yes.
GIFs. What are we calling them?
So close.
So close.
Oh, there's a drum roll. I love it.
$495. We just had a $1,000 donation.
$1,000.
So close, you guys.
You guys, this is an investment. When you give tonight, you are investing in real lives.
Yes.
The return is freedom.
Yes, it is.
Freedom, and preventing future generations from entering slavery.
Yes.
We are stopping it in its tracks. We got another donation.
1,000. So close, you guys. We can do this.
We're so close.
Yes, we want to take a moment just to thank again our presenting sponsor, the Ron Jones Legacy Group, in partnership with Gear Financial Group. We are so grateful for you, and our sponsors Zarmada and WBC in-house partners. Thank you so much for giving this night the ability to have this night. It is incredible.
It really is.
So
Okay.
And one more thing, but to all of you who are hosting, who invited family and friends, we've loved seeing on social media you tagging. We've had more kids, families that tuned in with their kids, raising the next generation of abolitionists. Thank you all for tuning in from all over the place, sharing the word, spreading the word, getting all 50 states represented. And now we have some big news.
We have some big news.
We can really
tonight
right now.
You have helped us raise $505,000! Incredible! Wow! What an incredible night!
Oh, goodness!
And we know that many of you have friends that weren't able to be here tonight. One of the beauties of this virtual event is that we get to have a replay.
Yes.
So this entire program will be replayed in just about 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes.
It will be
Share it.
available for you right here. So right on this page, go ahead and text it to your friends, share it with your social media, go out, spread the word, yell it out off the top of the mountains. This is going to be available for you, and we know that there are other people that want to give and maybe haven't really heard that human trafficking is an issue. And so this replay is a great way for people to learn about what's going on in the world and what we're doing together as Rescue Freedom.
Yeah, so you can find and share it at rescuefreedom.org/freedom dinner. If you're not following us on social media, I would also encourage you to follow along there at Rescue Freedom, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you might be, we're there. So follow along, spread the word. I know many of you have already asked, hey, is this gonna be available later? You know, I had a family member that couldn't tune in. I wanna share it. The answer is yes.
Yes.
So in about 30 minutes, that'll flip over. The link will stay live. You can spread it far and wide. And the number just keeps going up.
It just keeps going up.
This is
It's
amazing.
incredible.
It's 509,534.
Absolutely amazing.
This is absolutely incredible.
Continue to give, continue to share. We are so grateful for you.
Yes, and a special thank you to Reach Church here in
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
That's where we're tuning in live, and we're so grateful that you're here with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for joining us in this fight. Welcome to the Rescue Freedom community if you're new, and we're just so grateful to be united as an army of abolitionists pursuing freedom for all. Thank you.